Well, we're back with John Visley of, do you call it Visley Estate Vineyard? Is that what it is?
Visley Vineyards.
Visley Vineyards, okay. Um, Total production for you here.
Just under 3,000 cases.
Okay. And the variety that you're using the most for wine?
It's fairly well distributed between the varietals. Chardonnay, the Bordeaux blend, Petit Sirah Zin are our highest number of cases that we produce, although probably our most delicate and most widely acclaimed is our Pinot.
Okay. So, when you're making wine, actually, who is the winemaker here?
I am.
You are, okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure. When you're making wine, do you have kind of like in your mind's eye a vision of what you want it to be stylistically? And if so, what is that?
We are really, I guess I want to say a minimalist approach. My job is, I feel like my job as a winemaker is don't get in the way. You know, the fruit, if we grow good fruit, and this vineyard, you know, I like to say our fruit rocks. You know, we have some really nice fruit here, and my job, the fruit, you know, comes in and it's here. My job's not to let it go this way.
Right.
My job is to keep it here all the way through, and you know, sometimes it's difficult, but and we don't want to really we don't want high alcohol wines. We're not trying to make cocktails here. We really want kind of fruit forward wines. I don't want something that's overly oaked and heavy. I want a wine that, you know, when you're tasting that wine, you're tasting the fruit, and I feel like that's kind of my job, is to let the fruit be the star of the show.
Okay. Well, let's see. You have 3 wines here. Why don't you take us through them one by one?
Sure. We brought out our 2010 Pinot. There's just a ton of black cherry in this wine. We grow the Poumard clone, so it's 100% Poumard, and
this wine's available now.
yes.
Okay.
This wine we released in March of this year. We have a 91 rating on it from the Wine Enthusiast.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's just a wine that people just really have been enjoying, and now I'm under 100 cases left.
And the original amount that you made is?
We only made 150 cases.
About 150 cases. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You have a pretty interesting, let's say, wine club here. It's called the Barrel Club. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, yeah. That is. There's a lot of folks that would like to be would like to make wine, and I've come across various wine barrel clubs, so to speak, where folks are able to go in and use a facility, bring in some fruit, and make their own barrel of wine. What we've decided to do was that in that instance, when somebody wants to try to give that a shot, rather than bringing in outside fruit, we're willing to work with folks that want to make a barrel of Zin or a barrel of Petit or Cabernet or Merlot or Chardonnay, and you know, we'll work with them and help them through that whole process of you know, picking out their yeast, doing the punch downs, doing, you know, all of each and every step of the way. They can be as involved as they want. They can be out here picking fruit, sorting the fruit, making sure there's no leaves, getting anything that's, you know, maybe an undeveloped berry or whatever. They can get that involved. Or they can say, you know, I can only get up here on the weekend, you know, I'll be available to do some punch downs, and, you know, and if that's the case, we're essentially making the wine for them, so to speak.
Sure. That's a great experience, and they actually could, and the end production is about 24 cases that they get, right?
Exactly.
So they could get together with some friends,
split up the barrel,
split it up, and walk away with a bunch of cases of wine that they've actually made.
Yeah, they've made it. It's Russian River fruit. They can design their own label. They can, like I said, they can be as involved as they want to be, and do it essentially at wholesale prices. You know, because we're really focusing more on what drives the price is the fruit itself. So it's like buying you know, a ton of grapes, because essentially that's what we're doing.
Right.
Is we're using, it takes a little bit, you know, out of a ton you get a barrel plus, and you need that plus for topping wine.
Right, right.
Because during the course of a year, you're going to lose 10 to maybe 15% through evaporation. So, the number one job when you're making wine is keep that barrel full, keep everything clean, and so we'll go through and on a very regular basis top those barrels with that topping wine, that extra wine that we made.
Right, right. Getting back to this Pinot that we're tasting right now, it's kind of an elegant. I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, first of all, it's really correct. I mean, there's no doubt that this is a Russian River Pinot in many ways. It does have that, I like to say, hard candy flavor to it a little bit. But the thing that strikes me the most about it is how delicate it is. I mean, it's not a heavy-handed, high alcohol, highly extracted Pinot Noir.
Right.
I mean, I see what you mean about pretty much letting the grape guide you as to where the wine's going to go.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Very. I can see where this would go with a lot of really nice foods in terms of food pairing. It wouldn't know where to take the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And it goes. Pinots go well with gorgonzola. And it doesn't have to be even restricted to just say salmon. You can have a nice barbecue with this.
Right.
There's a lot of things that it will pair up with nicely. There's enough acid, to be able to interact with the food.
Okay. Would it be okay if we use nature's dump bucket here and move on to the next wine?
That's the rule of thumb here. If I pour you too much or it's not your style, then return it to the earth, as I like to say.
We are tasting, after all, not drinking.
That's right.
And for those watching, we're here at about 9:15 in the morning. All right, so this next wine
we call 5 vines.
Okay, all right.
And 5 vines because it contains all 5 of the Bordeaux varietals.
Okay.
And this is this is the 2008, and it is it's primarily all of the 5 vines are primarily Merlot. So this is 46% Merlot and 29% Cabernet. And then we fill the rest in with the Malbec, Petit Verdot, and Cab Franc.
Right. So in essence, this is your Bordeaux blend.
This is our Bordeaux blend.
Yeah.
We won a gold medal for it last year. This was up until the release of the 2010 Pinot. This was our #1 selling wine.
Okay. And the production on this?
About 375 cases.
375. Once again, you have a style in winemaking that for me is kind of, it's smooth, it's elegant. What's the price point on the Pinot, by the way?
45.
45, and then this 5 vines?
35.
35, okay. It's a very smooth, almost, I don't want to say light because it's got a lot of richness to it, but elegant, subtle.
It's not a heavy Cabernet.
No, not an overdone wine at all. What is the barrel treatment on this Bordeaux blend?
It's about 30% new oak, and Vizsla is a Hungarian name, and we like to use a lot of Hungarian barrels.
There you go. Okay.
And the Hungarian barrels are actually it's the same species as French, and it's just that the growing climate is a little different, and the wood is a little denser. But as far as flavor profiles, it's very difficult to distinguish, in my opinion, the Hungarian from the French.
Right. And the Pinot Noir, how long in oak?
That actually went a little longer than you might think. We were, and that was really due more to bottling constraints. But that was 13 months. 13
months, and the Bordeaux blend, the 5 vines?
The Bordeaux blend was about 28 months.
28 months.
So we were over 2 years in the barrel there.
And the minority of the oak is new, so therefore I don't taste very much oak in here. I mean, it's more of a structure thing for the wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you need it. There's no doubt that that new oak, the way that the oak tannins interact with the grape tannins, the flavor profile, the toasting is very important on the barrels.
Right.
Yeah, so all those things come into play, but it's just like it's a recipe where you're getting a little bit of spice, you're from your spice cabinet, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you're pulling it together.
Right, absolutely. Wonderful. All right, so we'll move on to the next wine, which is a Petite Sirah.
This is our 2009 Petite Sirah.
Current vintage for you?
Yes.
On the market? Okay.
It is. I do have some 2007. It's quickly becoming a library wine. We recently won a double gold best of class for the 2009 Petite Sirah down at the North of the Gate competition.
Okay.
So we're very happy about that.
And if somebody wants to buy your wines, where are they available?
Right here at the winery and online on our website.
Okay, got it. All right. Let's see what we have here for Petite Sirah.
I really enjoy the nose on this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the pure fruit. And that's the other thing about the verasion that we were speaking of earlier. Now is when we're going to start even having those fruity aromas versus the herbaceous aromas.
Right.
Where it's kind of when you're out there and you'll pick up that. Right now, it's always been more of a herbaceous, leafy kind of aroma. Now we're going to start getting fruit aromas,
right.
Fruit flavors in those berries, and that's just a little something I just thinking about.
Sure.
The whole nose on this, the aromas are just wonderful.
One of the things I'm interested in about this Petite Sirah is how do you tame the tannins in this grape? Because it can be pretty intense.
It can be.
And as I taste this is ready to go. I mean, this is wonderful in terms of drinkability. And I'm always fascinated how a winemaker will take a grape that is known for a high tannic structure and just literally tame it. So what do you do in the winemaking to make this grape?
Well, for one thing, with the Petite, we do end up using more of American oak. American oak seems to have it's
to stand up to it.
Yeah,
right.
The way the tannins interact, American oak seems to work quite well with Petite Sirah,
right?
And even Zinfandel as well. Those barrels and those grapes tend to work well together.
Okay, wonderful, great. So, for the future, do you plan to stay at the current production? Do you plan to grow? Any interesting new things that you're thinking about going forward?
We're thinking that for the immediate future, we'd like to stay at this level, and then perhaps in the future look at sourcing some other grapes. But our goal right now is to be an estate winery,
right?
Grow our grapes. If we found another vineyard that we could acquire, then we would consider that. But right now, our goal is to crush every grape we grow and sell every bottle that we cork up. So
right.
Once we get to that level, then we'll be able to start really kind of thinking about what's the next step.
Right. And your website is VISZLAY VislayVineyards.com. John, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.